the Zoom.
That's setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Wait till that does that. Let's just make sure that keep smiling, of course, and lean forward. Keep yourself this way. Ready? Redirecting to Facebook Live.
Do you like my parenthetical?
Yes. Say we're live now. And I think we're good. I see live. I think we're live.
We are. Because we thought we were 5 minutes ago.
Well, welcome back. This is take 2. Let's do it right. Take 2 with Aurora Borealis with...
Well, that's what we have to tell them. We didn't tell them.
Well, go ahead.
So this is not a sunset, obviously, but it might be a sunset in the winter in the Greenland.
Yes.
Because it's the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, which is gorgeous. It's on my bucket list.
Our bucket list.
To see, yes together. Definitely. It just looks magnificent. So this is a picture I found on the internet. But we have to hold really still.
Right. So we're ready for Aurora Borealis with...
Dan and Cindi. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but it does. All right,
we've got a great show for you
tonight.
We got to hold
really still. So, you know what? We have a lot of names for 2021.
Yes.
2020, sorry. And I know people are tired of pivot, all that. I'm not because, just what you do.
Yes.
But the other day I was, at my doctor appointment, which we all should do.
Yes.
Ladies.
Yes.
And the lady looked at my chart, and she said, "Oh, you haven't been here for a while." And I said, "Well, I think at the end of 2019." She goes, "Oh, that's true. That's only like a couple months ago because 2020 doesn't count." And then I realized 2020 is like a parenthetical year. It's like parentheses. So it's like 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021.
So not an asterisk, but
parentheses.
Parenthetically speaking.
No. Why do you do that? People have asked us that.
We've gotten letters because it's an old
2
radio.
letters came pouring in.
It's really a 30s radio thing where guys, DJs, radio jocks, or announcers for radio.
Because they didn't have headphones and all that. So
they just had the big microphone and say, "Ladies and gentlemen."
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of a radio, nod to radio and a little bit of Thurston Howell III.
Exactly.
But to our Yacht Rock, love it, Yacht Rock Radio. So anyway,
Happy New Year!
Here we
are. Should old acquaintance be forgot? So anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. This is our first Dan and Cindi live for 2021. Really quickly, let us just remind you where you can find us on social media. You can find me right here on Facebook. And you can also find me on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel with lots of really fun things. And what we'd love for you to do is when you go over to the YouTube channel, just hit subscribe. Now, it's not going to ask you for any information. It will just say you have subscribed. And what that will do is that will let YouTube know that something fun is happening on that channel. There's a lot of old vintage videos. There's a vocal warm-up. All kinds of fun things. Also on Instagram and Twitter, I'm Sandi Patty P. So where can we find you?
Well, very easy. We've streamlined for 21, DONPESLIS, Don Peslis at both Instagram and Facebook. And remember, again, we post, typically Sandi and I will post every day, something inspirational or thought-provoking, really. So we've got some great ideas for you this year that we're putting out, not only from Crossings, not only from Kenizo, some of our sponsors, but also from Dan, and Cindi. So that's at Don Peslis Facebook and Instagram. Well, we've got
and Crossings is not technically one of our sponsors.
Okay. Well,
we just love them. It's our church.
It's our church.
So I just didn't want to get in trouble with anybody.
No. Okay.
So technically, we just love Crossings, and they
hopefully we'll claim
every day speak into
all right, let's
our life.
Dan and Cindi, give them an update.
So where have we been? Where in the world have Dan and Cindi been? Just like all of you, everybody had to find a new plan for Christmas.
Yes.
And I feel like we are so close, and now we're seeing the results of that of a vaccine. In fact, I got a text from my parents.
Right.
And my mom's getting a vaccine tomorrow. My dad is getting one on Monday. They're 85. And I'm just so thankful for that. So yay. But because the vaccine is so close and nobody wanted to risk anything in our family,
Right.
we just all decided to do separate Christmases. So we had a little getaway.
We did.
We drove, so we
We
didn't have
did.
to mess with airplanes. We drove. We just ended up having the best time. We did go to Florida.
We did.
Some friends of ours just lent us their home
Yes.
they weren't there. It was just us. And we
Kind of in our own
just,
little bubble.
it was just so sweet. And y'all, a lot of you know that our daughter Erin works at Disney. And so she was able to finagle a couple of free guest park passes for us. And what'd we do?
Well, something we always wanted to do. 99,000 of you were with us for our 25th anniversary in August.
Yes.
So this really was a chance for Dan and Cindy, Don and Sandy, to get away for our 25th. And I was reminded of just at the end of 25 years, how blessed, and how important like is. We love each other, but at the end of 25 years, we just,
I like him.
but
Do I get on his nerves? Pretty much. Does he get on my nerves? Yep, he does. But you know what? At the end of the day, we like each other.
we're so blessed. But something we'd always, when we'd be at Epcot with the kids and it'd be a party of 24 and we'd say, well, we'll get back to that. But something we always wanted to do was start at one end of the festivals. Many times at the Christmas season, stay forward there, babe. That's it. Keep on my shoulder. So they have a holiday festival where there's a little bit of offerings, food and the lights, if you will, treats from around the world.
Like you could eat different cookies.
And so we said, let's start and go all the way around.
We had
And
the
we
best.
did.
We got one thing at each place,
Yes,
split it, took a
yes,
bite, and went
Yes. So check out
next.
my Instagram, Don Festus. You'll see some great photos. But you know what? Some surprises. She had never had wontons
No.
and
No,
loved
crab.
those. But they look like a crab. It's not that they had crab in
See,
them,
I didn't know that.
but they were delicious.
They
weren't
were fantastic. But see, I'm not a big seafood fan.
right.
So anything that just
Crab.
hints of
But it was because
seafood.
they looked like that.
and see, I didn't know
Spring
that. But
rolls.
we kind of like did a pinky here, a
Okay.
pinky thing. We're gonna try everything.
But the tamales in
Oh,
Mexico.
please.
Oh, she's disappeared.
The
It was so
lamb.
good.
I tried lamb.
We
I'm not
did.
a lamb person,
We
but
did.
in Morocco, we tried. It
Oh,
was great. It was
I'm
so
not-
fun.
You don't eat meat. I'll make
I'll
lamb.
make lamb. Anyway,
But
we
you
had
know,
such
ended
a
up-
great
and she
time.
was so cute in Paris to have her chocolate, something,
In
something.
France.
Yes, in Paris.
Chocolate ganache with
Chocolate
chocolate icing with
ganache.
chocolate shavings.
It
I
was
mean,
magnifique,
come on.
très magnifique.
I mean, seriously. Yes, please. So
But
that
it
was
really
great.
was. And again, we got to see the Voices of Liberty do 2 sets, and
Weren't
we
they
love them.
Fabulous.
And if you were with us in December, we had 2 guests on the Very Merry Virtual Christmas.
Yes.
And Tiffany was not on set that day, nor Jamie, but we got to see some of our friends
Yeah.
sing. Just lovely. So again,
So some of the Voices of Liberty people made Voctive.
Yes.
And Voctive is who we had
Yes.
on our Christmas. So we sat there for 2, and you might have taken a nap in between sets. I'm not going to lie, you might have. But
all right,
we had the best time. We drove home, and now
We
we're
did.
back. We're back at it.
back at it. And now let's
So,
keep moving. It's time for
Almanac 2021.
look at this, folks.
Almanac moment with Dan. Don't
And see-
finish it.
Oh,
Just let it go.
let it go.
Just let it go.
Many of you have let us know, and it's so fun. So many of you. I'll keep
Oh,
leaning
where'd
forward.
you go?
I don't know.
This
It-
is.
It's just the power of the Aurora Borealis.
You know
tonight.
what? Our social media guy, he said,
It's-
you are so on brand right now. Like,
He's had
it's technical.
But many of
Bedlam.
you have let us know that you've gotten your almanacs. And I also want to remind you, and Thomas will put this up for us out there, that you can go to the oldfarmersalmanac.com. And many of you also on the winter solstice, December 21st, something was amazing to see Jupiter and Saturn come
Oh.
so close that they almost look as one,
Mhm.
and it's known as the Bethlehem Star.
I love that.
It
And
was so fantastic.
our small group that night, we gathered together social distantly
Yes.
with our cars in the church parking
Yes.
lot. And we watched, if somebody was smart enough,
Yes.
probably the one in our group,
Yes,
the one
yeah,
on the Enneagram in our group,
yes.
brought binoculars.
And you could see
Oh, it
just the
was
space.
so cool.
Now, one of my young friends that I mentor, a young man, and it's just so great to spend with him. He's got a full-on telescope, which in 21, that's on my wish list, the telescope. He said that you could actually see with his telescope, Sam, the space between Saturn and Jupiter.
Oh, nice.
The rings of Saturn, you could see the space.
Yeah.
And the stripes on Jupiter.
Well, that day, you don't know this, but I started online going, oh, it'd be cool to get a telescope for tonight.
Yes.
So I went online to see if, anybody had them, and no one had them.
Yes.
I went to Target, Walmart, sporting goods.
Everybody.com.
Nobody had them. So we should have thought ahead a little bit more on that.
But we'll get in 21. But okay, folks, welcome to the 9th day of the year. Hello. Isn't it funny how that resets? So we were, and we're going to work our way week by week together, but this is January 9. Sunrise was a lovely, again, these are Boston, Eastern Standard Times, 7:13 this morning. Our evening sunset was 4:30. We had a lovely 9 hours and 17 minutes of sunshine today. The days are getting longer now as we move towards, we move towards spring and longer days. But you know what? There's so many great things in this almanac. Again, almanac.com or the Old Farmer's Almanac.
And Thomas is going to, everybody give some love to Thomas. Put a thumbs up.
Thumbs
hit
up
that,
for Thomas.
Hit that heart.
And listen, also on Instagram. You can also go on Instagram to the Old Farmer's Almanac on Instagram. There's a daily post. Today, the post was about chickens, raising chickens, how great that is. And how back farm people, Sandy, are gardening and farming.
Yes.
The COVID forced people home,
Well,
and it's more than ever. Listen, there are hundreds of things you can download for free about gardening, raising crops, raising livestock. Again,
on Farmer's Almanac?
Almanac.com. Brought to you. It's your Almanac moment. Go ahead.
Almanac moment with Dan.
Thank you. We'll see you next week, and keep. You know what? Send us pictures. Send us pictures this year of you. And make sure you put in your pre-tiree name.
Oh, yeah.
And your almanac for 2021. All right, Cindy.
So I want to know, you and I have talked about this.
Yes.
It's up on our little letterboard now.
Yes.
But it's customary, at least for us, to pick sort of a word that will make us intentional this year. Mm-hmm. And so after doing a lot of thinking, I was reading in our daily devotion in Isaiah. He says, behold, I am doing, present tense, a new thing.
Yes, keep leaning to me.
I know. Well, here's the problem I got going on. If I lean one way, you see the little ring light in my glasses.
It's better than you disappearing.
If I lean another way,
let's see.
It just goes away. So,
no, I'm going to go with A.
A. I could take them off, but I did have some people say, we miss your cute glasses. So I
let's
can't do it all.
Go still with A. Okay.
I'm
going with this great thought.
Behold, I am doing a new thing.
Yes.
New.
Yes.
New.
Yes.
Do you perceive it? And that word perceive just jumped at me this year like it never has before. So my prayer is, I've loved the Lord and followed the Lord long enough in so many years. I know he's at work. I know it, that I know. But I often miss what he is doing because I like to give him suggestions. So if I can just perceive is my word for this year. I perceive.
That is a great.
What
you have that? Isn't that Isaiah 43:19 or 43:18?
I think it's one of those.
It's either 43.
I'm sorry, I don't have it right on the top of my heart.
43:18 or 19 from Isaiah.
Well, it says when he says "behold," that's like, listen, everybody, hush, be quiet. I have something really important to say. That's kind of what "behold" means. I am doing a new thing. Do you perceive it? So perceive is my word. How about you?
Well, mine is going to be a little less spiritual, which you could count on from Dan. More the fun side of the gospel.
No.
If in 2009
it's
you were
actually
watching...
a really good word.
Thank you. But in 2009, if you were watching movies, remember when we used to go to movies and get popcorn? It was our favorite date night. Dan and Cindy.
That happened?
I know, Dan and Cindy. We've done so many watching at home, but that's really one of our favorite date nights is dinner and a movie, and I can't wait for that to be back. But in 2009, it was a release, Kung Fu Panda.
Mm.
Jack Black was Poe, the panda. Master Shifu, I think, was Dustin Hoffman. It was just a great movie. And in one of the passing scenes, that Master Shifu, and then there was the old turtle, Master Oogway, who was the wisest and the oldest sage and master, Kung Fu master. Master Oogway passed on some information, and Master Shifu was so worried about Poe, he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do that, he wouldn't. And Master Oogway said, "You worry about noodles, not noodles. Eat, not eat. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why we call it the present." So
that's extremely spiritual, if I might take issue with that.
But when I didn't get a whole lot of likes on Kung Fu Panda yesterday, even though, but it's okay. But I wanted to give you the look at that every day in this world right now, we are so like this. We're so distracted, and for a 7, we are on the Enneagram. We are very easily distracted with stimuli. And I love to carry on. I'll tell Sandi, 10 conversations at once. And she's really working with me as a recovering 7 now, to where I'm really focused. But my goal in 2021 is to be with you. Here I'm with you. Mm-hmm. The gift, one of the greatest gifts we can give each other. Yes, today is a gift. Mm-hmm. It is the present, but to be present. To be present here.
That's good. That's
not
true.
How many times I'm at work and I'm somewhere else, or I'm home and I brought my work home. We talk a lot about that, being really invested and engaged and present where we are. So that's my goal for 21.
I like it. That's excellent. So we'd love to type your word in there. We'd
Great
love
idea.
to
and put a little hashtag.
Know your word.
Put a pound sign before it. Put a little pound sign before it, like hashtag perceive or hashtag, which is well, that way we know it's the word. My word is, it's kind of fun to do that.
Hashtag, though, that's for a different reason.
Well, but okay, fine. Just type in your word. We're moving on.
If you want to hashtag anything, hashtag Dan and Cindy.
Cut, check, print, take, move it on. Thank you for that. All right.
So we, once again, we had the best Christmas at Crossings. Yes. It was so much online, which was, I'm just glad we have incredible technical production team. Yes. So we are looking forward to this Sunday being back, or what's that tomorrow? Being back on site at Crossings Community Church. You can always, wherever you are, and we would just love to see the numbers for Crossings grow. We've had so many people, some from Indiana, some from Australia, say, we fit to your church. Please join us at ours, crossings.church, and the services.
Again, those services are 9 a.m., 9:30, forgive me, 9:30. You'll have both options of a traditional and a contemporary. And tomorrow we're opening up the contemporary venue that's been under construction since COVID began. We've added a balcony. But again, 9:30, traditional, contemporary, and then at 11, again, traditional and contemporary. That's crossings.church. That's our Crossings moment. We'd love to have you with us. And Pastor Marty is starting really a great series. I think it's going to be really, really good, called Breathing Underwater.
So I'm so anxious to hear where he's going with that. Because in my mind, I'm like, that's impossible.
Right.
So maybe that's what he's going to talk about.
We look forward to seeing you. Check us out, crossings.church.
We love it so very much. You know what, Don? Before we go any further, we do have to say something about this week.
Yes.
And I know you have done your due diligence. And this has been a strange week in our capital.
Yes.
And it has challenged us to go far beyond what different parties are saying.
Yes.
And it's challenged us. I'm reminded of the scripture, and I think it's the Ephesians, but I didn't look it up before, when Paul was sharing with them the gospel of Jesus. And they were very devout Jews. But it says they listened to Paul's words, and then they searched the scriptures to see if they were true. And that brought you to sort of a revelation a couple of days ago.
Thank you, Cindy. You know what? I waited. I watched, like many of us, thousands, millions of us watched what transpired at our nation's capital. And I waited for a day or two even to respond to the children, but I really went internal and prayed and asked, how can I make sense of this, Father? How can I move forward with some positivity, with give me wisdom? And I really felt led. And the first remarks I made were on a group wise. Stay forward, you're
Yep.
disappearing.
Oh, sorry.
Group wise to our children. And I said, I really don't have words of wisdom about yesterday, but I felt led and felt led to know and to know what I should believe. So I did something. I went to and I printed both of these for Sandy and myself. I went to our National Archives and wanted to look at what,
Thomas is going to put that link up.
that link will be their National Archives, and it's our founding documents.
Yep.
What I did is I felt like, you know what we need to do more than ever as citizens, and those of you that are watching from other countries, give us just a moment, but as citizens of this great country of the U.S., what we really need to know is what our founding fathers really had hoped, and what is still there for us today. And I encourage you, Dan and Cindy, moment now, to go to, and Thomas will put this up. It's the Declaration of Independence. It's perfectly transcribed for you. It's the Constitution of the United States transcribed for us. It's the Constitution Amendments 11 after the first 10, 11 through 27, and then it's our Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
So what I felt like my response, I'm going to do what I can do. And many times we wonder, what can we do? I'm going to be informed.
Yeah.
I'm going to know what are my rights. What does it mean to be a citizen of this great country? And I'm going to do my very best to be the best citizen that I can be. You know what? And it really, even though it wasn't a citizen of this great country that said this, Mahatma Gandhi said this: if you want to see change, be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
a great
good.
quote that Dr. Martin Luther King loved.
Yes.
Gandhi was one of Dr. King's mentors. But again, we'll put this up for you. And I encourage you to go and read these great documents that are the backbone and the cornerstone, if
The
you will.
founding. And I think that's
Yes.
what I felt really challenged to do is I might have an opinion one way or the other, but what is my opinion based on?
That's right.
What is the founding principle?
That's right.
And when you came home with these, again, it reminded me of the New Testament where they scriptures daily to see what was true. And so it's a good challenge for us.
I
It
love
says
this.
our internet is unstable, and I'm not sure if that's just making fun of us right now.
Well,
but it could
be. All right.
Now, tell us about Kenizo, because Kenizo has some really exciting things this year.
Well, again, 2021, we want to thank, again, one of our partners has been, and we have a Kenizo moment at Kenizo.com. We'll put that website up for you. But again, it's an organization that really has the pre-retirees, our boomers, those of us in this age bracket with us in mind, to really help us find experiences, products, and information to help us live life well. Sandy and I are just really privileged to be a part of this new beginnings with this company. Sandy's blog, I should say, her Christmas Advent devotion was the 25 days leading up to Christmas on Kenizo.
And I have to say, and I tell you this all the time, I've told you this for 25 years, that you are a great writer. And Kenizo has really challenged you to write a blog once a week. And so you did that through November and December, and now it's January, and a new blog will be coming out next, or in a few days, on Wednesday.
Next week.
And Don, you're a great writer. You really are. Just say thank you. I'm not done.
Okay.
But I breathed. And this information that you've put in those blogs on Kenizo.com, I have I didn't know that. Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. And I'm a person that loves context.
Yes.
So you give me a lot of context and a lot of why. And I just really, really like that.
Thank you, Cindy. That's my hope. You know what? It's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of information. It's a little nerdy, But this week I'm really feeling, I just pulled some things down of where the names of the months came in, how we, new beginnings, what do different countries do with New Year's resolutions, new beginnings. But I'll tell you what's been percolating in my mind, if you will. It's a new year, folks, and it's a chance to work on a new you. So come check us out at Kenizo.com. I've got a blog that's out every Wednesday. I think you'll like reading it.
Yep.
And
Well, I
I'd love you
do.
to share
I
it.
know.
Well, she's supposed
But
to say that.
I
Kenizo.com. Again, they're friends of ours, and we want to help you live life well. And you know, when we get to the end of it, to look back and see that it's been a well-lived life.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
Good.
for our friends at Kenizo. What else?
Good.
We now, because every week, remember, we want to do something that's educational,
practical,
educational,
inspirational, and educational.
That's
Never
it.
pie.
Thank you. I was having trouble.
And one of our viewers, he's the one that suggested this months ago. And so if you show me your name again, who you are that suggested
we
it,
need to give you credit. We probably need to send you some
PIE
product for that.
Yeah, I think
Well,
we
it
might
brings
do that.
us to, and we're really wrapping up. We're just about out of time, but it brings us to a new segment that, even though it's inspirational, I really came to Sandi with this, and I've been percolating over the holidays with this. And many of you have said, "Well, Don and Sandi, we want you to sing," and but this is really a chance for us, for you to get to kind of know us and our alter egos.
Maybe that's why they say we'd rather you sing. I don't know.
But there are some great songs and some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lyrics that Sandi has been able over these
these many years
to sing. And so we're going to have a segment new for 21 that is consistent with some of the concerts. If you've seen us, it's really been her songs and stories. And so I've asked Sandi tonight for this segment.
It's interesting when you came to me about that, because I'd already had 2 other people this entire week say, I'd love to know the story around this. And they said this specific song. Right. And you said, I think this would be, so it was, whenever something comes to me in threes, I feel like I need to sit up and pay attention because that's important. So I was thinking this week about the song In the In-Between. And this song was born out of a sermon series that Marty did several years ago called The In-Between. For context, in the liturgical world, there is such a place called the in-between. It's called liminal space, Liminal, liminal space. And it's like if you're in a doorway and you haven't gone into the other room, but you haven't left the room you were in, you're in that doorway, that's the liminal space.
That's good.
And Richard Rohr says the most growing happens in the waiting, in that liminal space, in that in-between.
Father Rohr.
And so I got to thinking about that idea. And I have followed the Lord enough that I know he's got my future taken care of. And I know how he has been faithful in the past. But this everyday, daily days is what Gloria used to call it. That's hard for me sometimes when it's just normal. In the liturgical world, it's the ordinary days, but there's, they're not ordinary.
Is anything but ordinary.
And so, along with my friend Wayne Watson, we wrote this song, and I just want to share some of the lyrics. Thomas will also post a link where you can watch this video. But it's, I've seen some glorious days where I flew so much higher than I ever thought I could. And soaring through the air, I would declare, well, isn't God good? Isn't he good? Because he was, and he is, and he always will be. But in the in-between, it's hard for me to see. Grace and mercy have no season. Grace and mercy have no season. There is no good reason why the best of days might not be the days ahead. And in the in-between, you have time to dream. Your faith and strength will be restored by the gracious Lord of the in-between, where everyday life happens and the fields of green belong to someone else. In the in-between, where what will be and what has been. Jesus is a faithful friend in the in-between. And we are so much, I think, in the in-between of dealing with the virus and the cure coming soon. But yes, we're in this in-between. I have friends who are in between chemo treatments. We have friends who are in between jobs, who are in between, like we are, having young kids, and now they're all grown. And how do you parent? Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's also the same in the in-between. So that's my thought for today. Do you want to read this?
Why don't you read it why don't you read that? And again, we'll look forward to that segment of songs and stories. It may be
there's some stories you'd like to hear. How about that?
Behind some of the songs, let us know that as well. But thank you, Sandy, for that. And I hope that
good idea. Thank you.
Blesses you out there as we find ourselves in that in between. But we don't have to fear that, because we know that the Lord, that same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, is with us through that liminal space.
We've been doing our daily devotions.
Yes.
While we've been on the road, of using the Book of Common Prayer as our template.
It's a new 2019. Our co-pastor at the chapel got this for us for Christmas, Father Ron Mon and Pastor Ron Mon, and keep it close there. And it's the new 2019 from the Anglican Church.
But this is a beautiful prayer, and it's just amazing to me how things tie in.
Yes.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, and I will add, also in the in-between, a world without end. Amen and amen. See y'all next week.
Thanks for joining us this week, and we look forward.
Love to know where you're watching from and your thoughts that you have. Thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully in your week we can be just a breath of fresh air. All right. Bye, everybody.
See everybody next week.
Your hair's got Aurora Borealis going on.
I know that. See you next week.